What up, guys? It's Cam.
It's Joe.
We are HawksNestGaming. So, coming at you with a little quick discussion and then a quick deck profile of Kashtira. So, the Konami's done released the Kashtira archetype to us, and we've seen what the rarities are going to be in Photon Hypernova. This is a deck that I have been personally playtesting for the last several weeks, like probably a month or so at this point. Just focused on the YCS Las Vegas that we're taking a team to. So with that being said, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we're gonna get into the deck profile as Cameron has tested and laid it out. So first and foremost, and we know that this card now has a different name than the what's the new name for it, Joe? It's like Solith or something like that.
I think it's Rysoth or something.
Yeah, Rysoth or something like that.
Yeah.
So the planet. So the planet gets everything started. It's the straw that stirs the drink. So Unicorn being a 1-card starter in the deck now, this gives you access to Unicorn. When this card's activated, you can add one Kashtira monster from your deck to your hand. Monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each different attribute among monsters on the field. That also includes your opponent, guys. That also includes your opponents. So be absolutely aware of that, and don't let yourself get cheated. So with that, we're playing the 1 copy of Terraforming. Oh, and the other effect that this does is that if Kashtira activates its effect, you can pop a card on the field. So it is literally, if Kashtira you control activates its effect except for the initiative, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. So it's really good. The biggest thing is the search, and believe it or not, the attack and defense boost really comes into play, and it's attack and defense. So with that, we're playing the 1 copy of Terraforming to search that out. And there's another card that I'm teching in that we'll get to here in a little bit to go a little bit further. All right, so along with our planets, we're playing 3 copies of everybody's favorite Fenrir. This card is kind of goes without saying. It searches any Kashtira monster. All of the big Kashtira monsters have the same effect as special summon if you control no monsters. Which in and of itself is just pretty gross. But this card, literally, it's an activated effect. So and their effect is special summon, by the way, Joe. Not an activated effect. It's an inherent summon. So it doesn't start a chain. It's just a summon, just like you were normal summoning a card. So you summon this card, activate effect to search another Kashtira. It can search itself, any Kashtira monster, anything with Kashtira in its name. And then it also has the effect that everybody knows that when your opponent activates a monster effect, upon resolution in a new chain, you can banish 1 card on the field. It does target, so remember that. And then, so it's everybody's favorite Pankratops. Except for not being the effect. It doesn't matter. It still punishes hard.
Oh yeah. So
the next card that I believe is the best Kashtira, with especially the new support coming out, is the Kashtira Unicorn. 100% of 3 of. So with Planet, we play 7 copies of this card. This card searches your spells, your Kashtira spells, which is why it's so crazy. Now, don't forget, this is not a Kashtira spell. This is a planet, not the same thing. Not a Kashtira spell, so you can't search that, but you can search 2 very, very powerful cards. So Kashtira Unicorn is the best one to start with. It's a 1-card starter. We'll do a test hand and see if what we combo off with a little later on in the video. And then the next Kashtira monster, which will be a secret rare in the new set, is Kashtira Riseheart. So, wait, no, it's not secret rare. It's an ultra rare. It's an ultra rare. Ultra rare in the new set, Kashtira Riseheart. So for those of you who don't know, this card can be special summoned if you control a Kashtira monster. Doesn't matter what name or whatever. It's just a Kashtira monster. And then when this card is normal or special, the turn this card is normal or special summon, you can activate this effect, banish one Kashtira card from your deck. Then your opponent banishes the top 3 cards of their deck face down, and this card becomes a level 7. Absolutely insane. It's free extension for the deck, banishes 3 cards from your opponent's deck, activates Era, and most of your Kashtira spells and traps have effects that activate when they're banished. So absolutely busted. And then the other copies of the Kashtira cards that we're playing in this deck are 1 copy of Scareclaw and 1 copy of Tier Elements. I've rotated several copies in and out of these cards. Scareclaw gets to, it's like a super heavy samurai, gets to attack and defense position. And it also has the effect that monsters your Kashtira cards battle cannot activate their effects the rest of the turn, or have their effects negated for the rest of the turn, which I guess can come up. But the biggest thing is it's our Baguska out, and it's a free extension. Kashtira, or Tillam is Kashtira. When it's special summon, you can send the top 3 cards of either opponent's deck to the graveyard. And then if it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard. So obviously the Tier Elements players rejoice because this is another copy of Hadness, because both these cards are quick effects, which is really, really gross. But we'll get into the kind of, like I said, some of the combo pieces with those cards in a little bit. And again, they're 2 of right now. I've been kind of going back and forth with playing 2 of one of each of the names. But right now, I kind of like where I'm at with it. That's all of the Kashtira monsters in the deck. Let's get on to the spells and traps. So we're playing 3 copies of the second best card of the deck, because it's what Unicorn is going to search for you, and that's the Papayas. I can't remember what the TCG name is off the top of my head, but I'm going to call it Papayas forever, just like we called Halka-Fibrax Needle Fiber forever.
Yeah. It's annoying things.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. So Papayas is absolutely fantastic. It's an E-Telly for the archetype. So you target 1 Kashtira monster you control, special summon 1 Kashtira monster with a different attribute, which, FYI, they're all different attributes. Well, I mean, obviously, you can't summon a Fenrir off of this card. Like, you can't Fenrir summon a Fenrir. You can't Unicorn summon a Unicorn, but whatever, it doesn't matter. They're all different. Each name's a different attribute. Summon in defense position, which is important because if it was an attack position, this card would be ridiculous. And then for the rest of the turn, you can't summon, for the rest of this turn, you can't summon anything other than Xyz monsters. So it does lock you into Xyz cards. So, you know, just gonna get your lines right with this. And it's got a really cool effect that when this card is banished, you can target 1 of your banished Kashtira cards, except for itself, and add it to your hand. That comes up so much more than you think. It is crazy. It's literally a combo. It's pretty awesome. And the next card we play the 2 of Kashtira Birth, not 3, because you don't necessarily, I mean, you don't want to open 2 of them. It's not fun. Yeah, you don't want to open 2 in your hand. It's not fun. So 2 of is pretty nice because you're usually, I mean, you're gonna see it. So you want to see 1 of these 5 cards in your hand. If you don't, it's really not that big of a deal. But Birth in your opening hand is just even more extension. But it's a continuous spell. The cool thing about Birth, more than anything else, is it gives you recursion and crackback. So this card allows you to normal summon a level 7. That's right. It gives you like, hey, this isn't a level 7. I can summon it like a level 4 or lower. It lets you normal summon a level 7 if you haven't committed your normal summon yet. But it also lets you special summon a Kashtira monster from your Banished or Graveyard. Either one. It's also got a cool effect that when your opponent activates a spell card, you can target 3 cards in their graveyard and banish them. Face down, which triggers what? The Era, the Shangira. It's pretty fun. It doesn't come up too much because you really want to banish cards out of your opponent's deck anyway on your turn. But being a continuous card, obviously it's really nice to be able to recur and keep that stuff moving. And then we play the one of Kashtira Big Bang. This card is evenly matched in archetype, and it's absolutely busted. It is a linchpin in the main combo line. But basically, this card states that if a Kashtira exits monsters on the field, make both players banish cards from the field face down so they control only one. It's pretty fun. And then, if this card is banished, you can target one Kashtira exits monster you control, add one Kashtira monster from or you own attached to that card, that you own attached to that card, add it to your hand, and then you can special summon it from your hand. And I'll go through the combo line here in just a minute and we'll show what's going on. So that's it for the Kashtira cards. And that's pretty much the full engine. That's what I've come up with to this point. It's been super duper consistent. And again, I'm still playing with the ratios a little bit, but we'll kind of go from there. The next thing we're going to get into is the hand traps. Everybody's favorite, Dimension Shifter. Open this card, you win the game. That's kind of what that says. Honestly, if you go first or second, you see this card in your hand, you kind of feel like you're going to win regardless because your cards love being banished. Nothing really to say about D-Shifter. If you got no cards in your grave, discard this card and this card from the hand of the graveyard to the end of the next turn. Any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Shuts the graveyard off. We're playing the play set of Infinite Impermanence. You better know what this does. Target, negate. Can be played from the hand if you control no cards. Wonderful going first or second. That's how we play it. It also doesn't trigger the triple tactics cards, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But great offensive, great defensive, awesome card. 3 of Ash. Why Ash? Because Ash and Imperms just feels nice. Ash is just generically good. We're banishing cards we're shutting the graveyard off in this deck. Our boss monster is a Macrocosmos. So cards like DD Crow and Effect Veiler and Skullmeister, these kind of cards are offline if our boss monster is on board. So we have to play cards that still activate by discarding. And Ash is just the most generic one-for-one disruption. Period in the story. Can't really argue with it. It's been there. It's going to be there. And always forehead, not feet. All right. So that's it for the hand traps. There. Now we're going to get into not necessarily the flex spots, but kind of the flex spots of the deck. So obviously this card is, everybody knows what that does. I just play 2 of because 3 has been super clunky. I don't like seeing 2 pots in my hand. It's terrible. And you're never going to resolve 3 regardless ever. So 2 just feels nice. You see it enough. And yeah, nothing else to say. And there's some tech choices in the extra deck that I'll show you that make this card even better in this deck. But yeah, so 2 pots of prosperity. 2 of the new triple tactic tasking. This card is going to be absolutely just gross. Moving into the new, just the new season period. This card's gonna be gross. Triple tactics talents.
It's gonna definitely be a staple in some regards, especially with the current format, because you can get starters, you can get board breakers, you can get back row, depending on what deck you're playing. I mean, it's kind of crazy. And the best part is you don't have to do it. It's not just an effect that activates on the interface at the same time.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so crazy. If your opponent has activated a monster effect this turn, stand by, draw phase,
it
doesn't matter.
It's 3.
It punishes them. So now the crazy part is that when you activate this card, if they don't control any monsters, the card has to be set and you can't activate it that turn. So it kind of makes it less good in some respects. But if they control a card, so if they had an issue this card's live, and you get to add any of your extenders, like your powerhouse. You get to add anything like that. It's pretty gross. Or your imperm, or if they activate a monster effect, and you just be like, well, I want another interruption, so let me go ahead and set an imperm. Fantastic. It's really, really good. So along with that, we actually play a copy of Talents. So the reason I'm not playing 3 of these is because Talent's just too good to not. And honestly, there's some situations that I've run into in testing that if they summon a card and I've got plenty of gas, I just want to use this card to search this card and then rip their hand.
No, I was gonna say, I mean, that supplements a different kind of usage, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that take control of a monster, depending on the scenario, put a card back or draw. I mean, it is such a solid card.
So you could not play this if you don't want to. You know, this is the part of the deck, the profile that is just kind of up to you. So along with talents, and these are really just targets for tasking, is Dark Ruler and Duster. So if you lose the die roll, which does happen, believe it or not, having a tasking in hand and being able to search these cards going second is just absolutely broken. That's why these guys are in here. I was playtesting Evenly Matched, and a lot of times I would commit to board with like Unicorn or something like that, and they would do something to stop me, like book it down with whatever the trap card is for Kashtira, or for True Elements that lets them book it. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. There's a trap card that lets them book of Moon cards, and they'll search it out if they know they're playing cash. So these cards are really good going second to break, and if you open them, I mean, they're one-ofs. It's not that big a deal. And again, this is just theory at this point, guys. But so far, those ratios have been really working out nice. And I don't know if I'm going to change it up or not, but so far that's it. So that's 37 cards. And then the last 3 cards are something that I actually used back in when Numeron came out. And they've been just fantastic. And if you didn't notice, I don't play a single normal summon. Literally, these cards just do enough on their own. You don't have to normal summon. So why not play another copy of the field spell? So Planet Pathfinder, you contribute this card, add 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. It's that simple. So this card is an easy side out, and it just literally gives me 10 copies of this card. It is just that simple. It literally gives me 10 copies of Unicorn. I want to see my planet. My planet gets me everywhere that I want to be, and then some. Let's go to the extra deck just real quickly. Everybody knows you got to play 2 of these big baddies. Macrocosmos on legs, 3,000, 3,000.
Hey, in this case, it's on wings.
Ooh, it has legs too, though. So 3 level 7 monsters, or if Shangira has activated its effect this turn, you can overlay it over 1
What are we,
Kashtira monster.
Zodiac for me? You can't just put stuff on top of other things.
Straight up. And then
card
it's a
broken.
mandatory trigger effect when a card is banished to attach a banished card to this card.
Is this in the discussion of one of the best boss monsters of all time?
It is got to be.
It's so
It is
good.
just ridiculous.
Not only
and
can
then-
it banish stuff face down, but then it fuels itself by doing it.
So at any time you can quick effect, that's the last thing. Once per turn, detach 3 materials from this card and banish one card face down on the field. That's right. Target 1 card on the field, banish it face down.
Moment of silence for all the people out there that don't read the card right.
Which, by the way, that triggers era and mandatory trigger when something's banished, it re-equips itself with at least 1 card.
So busted.
Oh, it's so crazy. So anyway, love this card. It's so much fun. And then
For you, not for others.
2 of the Shangira. This is the mothership that fuels everything, though, man. We don't play without this card. It is absolutely stupid.
Does that look like the Death Star shooting
So-
at some planets?
So this card, for those of you that don't know, During the standby phase, each standby phase, you can special summon one Kashtira monster from your deck. And then every time a card is banished face down, once per chain when a card's banished. No, it's not once per chain. It's just when a card's banished face down. Holy shit! Yeah, that's right. Each time a card your opponent owns and possesses is banished face down, except during the damage step, you can choose one unused main monster zone or spell and trap zone, and it cannot be used while this card is face up on the field. And once that resolves, it doesn't matter if you impermanent, forbidden droplet it, whatever. If this card's on the damn field, those zones be staying locked.
Yeah, even if you negate it afterwards, it basically goes ahead into effect. So
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. And then the next card, rank 7 Xyz that's not a Kashtira monster, that should be a Kashtira monster, is Diabolus the Mind Hacker.
Oh, that guy.
When this card came out in Brothers of Legend, I looked at Murph and I was like, this card is crazy. Red Eyes and Dark Magician, yo, let's go. And he was just like, shut up, you're so stupid. I'm like, no, seriously, something is going to be stupid that abuses this card. Well, here we are. What this card does, more than just banishing a crap load of your opponent's cards, which it does that. Detach one material from this card, look at your opponent's extra deck, and then banish one of those face down. Once per turn, when a card your opponent owns and possesses is banished face down, you can banish cards from the top of the deck equal to the amount of face down cards. Your opponent's face down cards. So when you resolve that portion of it, you're going to be banishing at least 4 cards for that portion of it. So you're going to banish 3 with Rise Heart, then you're going to banish 1 from this, and then you're going to banish 4 more. So you're going to banish 8 off the top, like in turn 0. It's pretty awesome. And then lock 3 zones at least. But what this card does more than anything else is it gives you knowledge of what you're playing against. So, hey man, you run that one Kit Kalos? Woohoo! We in there. Game over. Alright, so along with that, some rank 7 toolbox stuff. We got Big Eye and Draco Sack. Big Eye's a Snatch Steal. It's fantastic, super awesome. I guess especially lots of rogue stuff. But late game, you're grinding, you steal their stuff, you swing for game. Draco Sack makes tokens, can't be destroyed by battle or card effect while you have tokens on the field, but you can use one of those tokens to pop cards. Absolutely gross. Red Eyes Flare Metal. Non-activated continuous effect when your opponent activates a card or effect. You burn them, burn them, burn them.
Fun fact, actually the Ghost Hermit.
Oh, do you really?
Yes, and that card itself will make you a ghost because of how much damage it does.
The next rank 7 toolbox card I'm playing is Dark Armed, the Dragon of Annihilation. It's just kind of a tech card. It's a decent sized body, 2800. But you can detach one card from this card, target one card your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish one card from your graveyard so it can trigger your Kashtira cards. So if you're running low on resources, you banish the Papillas to add one of your starters or a Birth or something like that. It can refuel, it can replenish. Card's really good for that. And then everybody's favorite Xyz monster, Zeus. I've seen Joey make a Zeus with 16 materials with this deck. Most I've done personally is 12. Yeah, that's right. A Rise Heart attaches a lot of material. Yeah. And then just a couple of other cards here. Virus Sword. That's right. Your boy, Virus Swordsman. He's in here because he's a generic Link 2 that gets over Baguska. That's why he's in here. He's 2300 attack. And gets over Baguska because he can't go in defense because he's a Link. That's literally the only reason he's in here. And then Infinitrack Goliath. What? Why Infinitrack Goliath? So Infinitrack Goliath is in here for one reason. An Xyz monster whose original type is Machine, and has this card as material gains this effect. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects. You banish this card off a Pot of Prosperity and then attach it to your Arise Heart. Because Arise Heart can attach face down materials too, baby. And if you own it, you have knowledge of it, is there. And then the last card, because we play Ash Blossom, is Baron de Fleur. It is just Baron. Sometimes you get ashed or impermed at the wrong time. You don't have anything to extend with, and you've got 2 ashes in hand, so Unicorn plus Ash equals a Baron. And if you're playing with a Baron and an imperm and an Ash, you're usually in a pretty decent spot.